Baby, make like I do with the punches and roll me home.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Time for Toking with Topher. Again, this week, we got the full cast of characters. Today, I've got Scotty Gherkin is back from
baby,
from his hiatus. You left me in the dark last week.
Back with a higher tolerance, baby.
I know. You said you smoked a lot of weed this weekend.
I
so
did not.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that because that means your tolerance will be up, you know, and that's what we want for you.
Got to get it back to par.
You missed a hell of an episode. We had the guys from Gruen in.
I know I did.
We got deep in the science of cannabis. But this week, I got another special guest. This week, we've got Austin from Swade dispensaries.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
He is also
Scott.
the Sinse brand ambassador, and he has come in. We're going to talk about cannabis today and the Swade dispensary, how they fit into Missouri cannabis, Sinse Cannabis products, and some of the things that they've got going out. Of course, we're going to start off with the pre-roll of the day. Austin has his own. We both got the Starfire Kim 1 gram pre-roll. And mine is 23%, and I'm sure yours is too.
Same thing. Yep, 23%.
23%. So
I don't have my own.
Just want to say thanks again, guys, for having me on. This is so cool.
Oh man,
Like,
absolutely.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
watching
I'm excited to talk to you about it. Like you said, we were talking before the show, and there's, I think, a ton of information in that brain of yours.
Well, thank you, Scott.
yeah.
You're no dummy, man.
I talk to him like every other day. I talk to him. I mean, I'm always going in the dispensary. We're always geeking out about weed.
He's a regular.
That's my job.
Like people come in to try to buy stuff, and we're like, "Hey, could you just wait? We're talking about cannabinoids." You know, so it's kind of funny.
It's easy when you love your job, though. You know, that's my pat.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, a little sparker at the end. Wow.
Wow. It's getting close to 4th of July, so they're
Whoa.
making them sparkle.
Put gunpowder. The new brand of cannabis, we put gunpowder in there.
It's called sparklers.
Russian roulette.
I just think you suck too hard on it.
Actually, it does taste good.
I like the Starfire Chem. I have not tried this one, but this is good.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm very particular about my pre-rolls.
It wasn't real harsh at all. Actually really nice.
No, it does smoke really good.
Not harsh.
I hate getting them when they're like too tight and they don't smoke well and they run. I always come in and complain to you about them. I'm like, oh, this one sucked. I bought some the other day and I'm like, oh my God, it was like an infused one. It wasn't the Twax. I like the Twax. It was a different infused one. And I got it, and it was too tight, and then it ran halfway down. By the time the $30 infused, I barely got anything off of it. I'm like, well, this was a waste of money, you know. So I kind of give them up. But this tastes good.
Was it the blueberry grape? Which do you remember? Banana?
Might have been the grape one.
Grape.
Yeah, I like
Cool.
the Twax. I mean,
Banana, huh?
I know I came on here to talk about Sinse, but GDF just released some Super J's. They're called
Super J's,
Yeah,
really.
I mean, just
What is Revenge of the Nerds, where he's like
business
Wonder
partners,
Joints.
been friends, but yeah, the Super J's. They're going to be terpene and cannabis oil rolled in keef.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so it's the strain specific flowers.
Wow.
That's nice. That's nice.
Quick plug for that.
Oh,
That's nice.
You
That's
need me to
nice.
scoot in
I
closer?
can't wait to see it. So are they out on their?
Maybe available at Swade soon, hopefully.
Who's putting that out?
Super J's, huh?
Who's putting that out?
Super J's, GDF.
GDF.
Yep.
Okay.
I want to
Check
bring
it
back
out.
the Revenge of the Nerds Wonder Joints. I'm good.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
I'm
Well-
easing into it. I have a feeling it's going to be a long show.
Pre-roll of the day. We just started pre-roll. And the other thing I wanted to give a shout out to my friends at Gruen. They provided me with a pre-dose. I did a pre-dose. They do these high-dose mini chocolates. Here's a picture of it. Boop. High-dose mini chocolate.
You see that?
Did you see it?
I think I can now.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, there you go. 100 milligram THC, and it's in a little chocolate square. I did the milk chocolate one
yeah?
about an hour ago. You know.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's mellow. It's
My
a good.
hero.
It's really tastes good. I mean, that's the thing about it. You know, back when we did everything tasted like cannabis. You know, I go, oh, I can really taste that one. But you know, these you don't really taste it, so it's kind of nice. Good feeling, nice light buzz. But then on the pre-roll, so. We're here to talk about Swade dispensaries. Now, I will just go back and say I'm close friends with the guys who started all of this and kind of worked together to get the laws put together. And I've watched Swade and the rest of the dispensaries rise in Missouri. And Swade's one of my favorites. I go there. I'm there like 5 times a week.
I think that's the only reason you bought that club, because it was so close to the
I
dispensary.
know it was. I remember their grand opening, and I had Swade's, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just gonna walk over there." You know, like Kevin's there. I'm like, "Hey, dude,
What's going on over here?
we're neighbors."
Oh my
So,
goodness.
Austin, how long you been with the organization?
So with Swade for about 7 or 8 months, I think now.
Okay. Yeah.
And then before that, I've done a number of jobs. I've always tried to work in industries that I liked. I was a manager at the movie theater for a bit at Marcus Theater. Shout out Marcus Theater.
He
We all
was
have
the
friends there.
assistant to the assistant
Assistant
manager
to the
of the movie.
assistant to the yep.
Yeah. That's cool, Rat.
Fast time.
Love
Yeah,
but you
that's
know,
great, Rat.
after that, COVID forced. You know, that was an uncertain time, so I
Oh, yeah.
left
Yeah.
Marcus. But
course.
glad
What do
they're glad they recovered.
Pretty much into the
But
theater.
I did some
pretty much into the theater life.
doggy
COVID.
daycare.
Yeah, COVID, yeah. There
But
was no
after-
theater.
I did doggy daycare after that because
Nice.
just working with dogs
Really?
was really cool during COVID. No exposures.
Yeah.
Hardly.
Yeah.
It was drop off, pick up at dog daycare because I have my own dog. So
Did you get
bring
to
your
yell?
dog to work.
Did you get to yell at people for not wearing their mask? Like,
You know-
"Sir, you need to wear your mask when you're dropping off this dog."
No. You know, a lot of people would wear a mask to
That's
drop
good.
off
Yeah,
or
of
at
course.
least put it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a quick thing. It was when the dog didn't get out of the car and you had to put half your body in. And it was like, okay.
Everybody quit breathing while I'm in here.
So you're so how long? So you're obviously you smoke cannabis, right? So when you,
Yeah.
I guess what came first? Did you start smoking cannabis and get a job at Swade, or did you get a job at Swade and start smoking cannabis?
So I was a smoker before my first job in cannabis, but Swade wasn't my first dispensary job.
Oh.
For back when medical cannabis legalized in 2019, I think that was the year.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
Bliss was the first ones to open up, so I got
Yep.
a job.
Okay.
And that was before they opened their doors. They wanted to be the first.
Ah.
So they were open for CBD sales
Yeah.
before any marijuana was even in stores. So I was just like, I had an agent badge. I was working in the dispensary and I wasn't selling any weed at all. I had some like CBD.
Gummies and CBD
Fake
flour.
weed.
Yeah.
It's like fake weed.
Weed
But-
light.
That was
Yeah.
my start. So I'm really grateful.
It's like
all
for
the-
like people that are recovering from weed. That's what they smoke. I'm recovering from THC.
You know what?
I just smoke CBD.
It got
now.
me back to smoking after how many years? Like, seriously.
CBD was your gateway drug to THC.
Well, no, see, because I smoked before, and then when I stopped smoking, we did the CBD farm to start.
Yeah.
Right? That's how we got into the
It led you
cannabis
right
industry.
back.
And it did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next, you'll be doing dabs. Oh my god.
No, yeah. You Scott, I was thinking about bringing Dabs on the show.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll be the first one, but would
You
you?
guys, were you
maybe
guys
next time.
conspiring against me? Like, we're
No,
gonna.
I gotta
fuck
get
this
your
kid up.
tolerance. I gotta get your tolerance up before we start.
This
bringing
old
the
man is
dabs in.
going down. We want to watch him panic.
No, I don't want you
freak
you
out,
will have
run
a
off the set.
panic attack. I can't do this.
It ain't
just-
that bad.
Do a 1-to-1.
Yeah,
little
do-
CBD
yeah,
dab.
dude.
Well, that's how I started. I started with a 5-to-1 CBD THC cart. Right. Oh, but you're sitting. We'll get into this. But I still got high off of that because I didn't have a tolerance. I used that to
Yeah.
build up. So because everything's so good now, like
Well,
you know what I mean. It's not like the weed I smoked in.
I would
20
think
years
5
ago.
to 1. Like I said last week, I think a 5 to 1 CBD to THC. You get negative THC.
No,
Basically, it cancels
still
out
THC
5 times.
in it.
What? What?
You still get high from it.
That's weird. It's
That's
just weird. It is a fake.
Am I wrong though?
so you're not wrong, Scott.
Thanks. It's
like
you're-
taking
but
Antabuse
neither
and
of
drinking.
you guys are
He's-
wrong.
he's
you
the
know,
yin to
there's
my
no.
yang. You can see the
It
relationship.
reminds me of someone who would take Antabuse and drink at the same time. You know what Antabuse is? It's like a drug you take to not drink. Yeah.
Right. And then
CBD and THC, that seems like the same thing.
No, it's just less of a high because sometimes I don't like the high.
That's what people say.
Well,
but
so
I like that.
It's a lot. There's a lot of ambiguity, right? Because we're going off a lot of anecdotal evidence right now, and not a lot of research-based stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm grateful that not all CBD is gone though, because it's seemed to be helping in macro doses for people with like bad tumors.
Yep.
They're taking like 2,000.
Right.
Yeah, they're taking a lot. Yeah.
But I'll also say, you know, when I talk to people at the dispensary, like people starting out, like you getting back into it, like a ratio, like what I like to say is it helps mitigate or reduce unwanted side effects of THC, like paranoia.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're like really worried about THC like increasing your anxiety, which it does, and what you can do to minimize the risk is take lower doses, take higher CBD, lower THC.
Yep.
And it can still interact with your body's receptors to like kind of relax the body and give you that body high.
Right.
And
that's the thing that I'm learning a lot about is the C's and how they can give you that body high, help with the body high.
Right.
You know. The other thing that helps with paranoia too, that I find with a lot of these with cannabis is not smoking crack. You know, I find that reduces the paranoia.
Yeah, if you're hitting the
as
crack
well.
right
And
after,
I noticed
it might
that
stress you out.
Yeah, so some strains, you know.
I tell my friends, like, if that, you know, the guys that don't smoke a lot, that might do the 5 milligrams to go to bed, things like that. I'm like, if you take more, you can always take a CBD gummy to follow it or two, and it'll knock that down. It does.
It does.
Works.
It does.
works.
And I do think, I mean, it's your go-to. If you're in a room with somebody, like, oh my God, I'm too high. You know, you always know. You give them some. Here, bro. Here's a CBD
Here's
gummy.
some CBD.
You know. It'll take it right out.
Oh wait, that was acid. I'm so sorry.
Oops.
Take this one.
Austin, I swear, I okay. So here's what I said this earlier. I noticed that when I come into Swade, that he's got that giggles already.
Oh, no, I'm good.
You want another hit?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
The Starfire's good.
Starfire's good.
Yeah, it is
It's
good.
a mellow
It is
hit.
good.
It's a mellow hype.
It's a good buzz. Like it's like a zing. That's the key, I think.
The reason I had you on is obviously, you know, when I come in there, we talk about cannabis and we kind of nerd out
Absolutely.
and stuff with it. But I see the fun of working there. You know, like, oh my gosh, you know, we all love cannabis. And I said that earlier, you know, everybody I meet that works at Swade seems excited about their job. You know, it's not like, hey, I'm just taking a crappy job, you know, which is cool.
To be a pretty cool place to work.
But then on the flip side, I can only imagine like how many times in a day you have to hear, I'm looking for an upper. I'm looking for a downer kind of weed. I mean, how do you slip that slope, you know?
I think, like, to your point about people's passion for it and really wanting to like give people the best advice in cannabis and make a good impression. And also we talked a little bit about good company culture too.
Right.
You know, like really wanting to be at your place of work because of culture. Right. Because for like what attracted me to work at Swade was my experiences as a patient before it was recreational. And going in there and seeing passionate people like give me the rundown on these strains and talk to me a little bit more in depth about terpenes.
Right.
And making the effort to like really make a connection, you know, with me as a
and
patient.
Educate people.
Yeah.
And help educate me and about what they have and what's new. People are a little more friendly.
Yeah.
And I think go ahead.
Go ahead.
We touched on it a little bit, but I hear it from people in the dispensary who come to me and they say, you know, I have the different vibe here. I go across the street or I go wherever and it's just not the same, but for everyone, you know, going through their jobs, you know, everyone has those days. Like I try to be as friendly as possible and as upbeat as I can be to every single person, treat every person the best. But I have those days too. Yeah. So don't judge anyone too hard and try to give your bud tenders a break sometimes, even if they're not like super friendly, you know. But yeah, Swade is a lot of things attractive about working at Swade.
What's in Swade's break room Like those guys are always so happy.
Can the bud tenders and stuff
must
smoke?
be filled with like.
Are you allowed to smoke at work?
So like I think the culture is a little
Question
more
I should ask her now.
accepting of smoking. I would say
Yeah.
like we have 5 different stores and each one is so unique in each culture.
Right, they have their own niche.
Really?
I would say that.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
if
haven't
you-
been to every location.
I've been to. I think I've been to all of them. You know, so like the one in the Loop, it's one across from the Pageant. You know,
Right.
that's got a little
Right.
bit different vibe than the one in the Grove,
Right.
which has a little bit different vibe than the one in Ellisville. I don't really. I mean, I've been to that one. Then you have the St. Peter's one. And
For sure.
Then what's the other one?
Ellisville.
Yeah, that's the one. I've been to that one too.
So
Yeah,
that
I've
one's
been
a
to all
little
of them.
more accessible to
I guess
Chesterfield.
that's the one I've been to.
Yeah.
And that one and the St. Peter's one of the two.
And the St. Peter's one, obviously, I go there because you know my people are there. I mean,
yeah, it's close in your route of work and everything else.
But someone's
so-
too close.
Ellisville is like a kind of a secret gem too.
Yeah.
And shout out Addie and all of them, the GM at Ellisville and all the.
They do
they're
have some.
awesome.
They can have some
rock.
good inventory too. They end up with some good inventory.
Right.
so-
Yeah. Because sometimes they'll end up staying with some of the products that run out. And it's
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
you can get that tropical Jedi over there.
I'm gonna have to.
Tropical Jedi.
I've been on that Master Yoda.
That just sounds nasty.
I've been grabbing that
Like,
Master Yoda.
in a good way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that just sounds like it would rip. Tropical Jedi.
I know.
It's a good name.
In your line, I mean, you're obviously when you're working. What's the most like asked about? What's the most
common question?
Yeah, most common question you're getting in the dispensary
From like the consumers.
The majority of people want flour. So
Really?
I usually ask
Wow.
what brings you in, and most people want something to smoke. Now I've noticed a lot of people don't they don't need a whole lot. It seems like a lot of people go to their one hitters or their baddies sometimes
Gotcha.
occasionally. So maybe like a 50-50 is someone who's looking for a little bit more, like a quarter ounce or something, maybe rolling it up or maybe smoking a bigger bong bowl or something.
Right.
But flour and smoking primarily is the number one thing. What
would be second to that?
So now edibles is on the rise and vaping is a little bit on the decline.
Really?
But not by a lot. By like a really small margin. But edibles has significantly increased quite a bit.
What about like concentrates and things like that?
I
Like
think because of COVID a little bit.
the dabs and stuff, the concentrates and things like that.
That has stayed primarily the same. I think it's the smallest little
It's
niche
probably the
of-
more long term guys that have been smoking for a while and
Yep,
high
higher
tolerance.
potencies. It's become a lot more accessible to people because of vaporizers like the Puffco, personal vaporizers, and things where you don't need glass pipes, which are super expensive. That's the other thing. Like getting into dabbing costs a lot.
I love my Luca. I use the little Luca portable.
seahorse.
Is that
Seahorse.
the Pro or the normal?
Yeah, I use
the
the Seahorse
The
Pro.
Pro's really good.
And it's one button, man. It's so easy. I got my little thing of dabs and dip it right in there.
do
It's
you
easy.
plug that into your water pipe ever?
I haven't. I mean, because like you, I'm like, I don't have time to get all that crap out and do all this heating it up,
Run
get the
6
blowtorch
filters,
out,
3
get
hoses.
get my welding mask on, and I would imagine too. I think for me, you mentioned the vaping, a little bit of a decline, just a little bit of what you've seen, and I kind of agree. I think for me, I just don't get high as much off vaping. Like I have the pen and I'm using it, but I'm not getting high off of it.
Really?
I'm not anymore. I just think it's the tolerance moreover. That's why we're talking about trying to work on the ratios, doing a 3-to-1. Our next cart that we're going to try is the 3-to-1 CBG to THC cart.
Right.
Just see how that cart might change the effects. But right now, straight up THC carts that we do. Give me a break. I'm a half gram into it. And I'm like, no,
You just like the flower.
Yeah.
You guys are making the pure THC, right? The distillate pure THC.
Yeah.
So, like we were
It's
kind
at
of
like I think it tests out at 96%, 94%.
Yeah, something like that.
94.
Yeah, that's pretty
on
good.
the distillate, yeah.
Like kind of.
And we mix terps into that to break it down.
Yeah.
obviously.
The terps.
We started to using it was a viscosity, is what it was called. It was kind of like just a bland terpene, just to break down the distillate. We stopped using that and just did straight terpenes, and they got better flavor.
Better
now.
flavor,
You guys
for
just
sure.
get those botanical terpenes like they were talking about, botanical or
Yeah, we could.
cannabis?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the ones we got were from True Terpenes. online. You just
True-
order
true
like
terpenes.
yeah, they're expensive. That's like $35 for like a tiny ass bottle.
You know, I would recommend you guys look into making rosin carts.
Rosin carts.
Yeah.
I've heard of
'Cause
that.
They're not they vape up and burn a little faster, but they're the solventless, so they're clean and they are full spectrum, so they're stronger a little bit.
So it's coming from
Now
it's
the-
coming
the
straight
TH
from the fresh rosin.
So can you process rosin fresh like that? Yeah, live rosin. Yeah, I'm not familiar with all aspects of manufacturing, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming you could make it live.
Yeah.
Now doing
Like a live rosin cart, like they do the live rosin gummies.
live
things
rosin cart, yeah, they do.
I don't know. I don't know how you would do that.
See, that's what I don't know either. I do know
I'm gonna
that
learn.
you can press it
Next
though,
on the list.
and
Yeah.
just take those cured nugs and make rosin.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's nice. That's a nice.
I've only pressed a couple times. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I did it with some old bud, so it was a little darker. It wasn't like real, peanut butter. Or, you know what I mean? It wasn't like that good color. Like it was
Right.
kind of nasty looking.
Some CBN heavy.
Yeah, some CBN concentrates.
Well, I wanted to get to some goodies that you brought.
Oh yeah, I brought a
You
bunch.
brought some
Definitely.
some stirrables, which
Yes.
people probably don't know what stirrables
Dude, these are amazing.
are.
Talking
These
about
are amazing.
God.
So shout out Teal.
Teal Cannabis?
and maybe I think someone from Teal might be on next week or something like that.
Yes, I do have Adolphus Bush will be on next week from Teal. He'll be excited to know that we tried out his high five.
Right. I hope I'm not stealing your thunder. I know there's going to be you're
Dude,
going to have more to bring. I know you're going to have more to bring.
Now, see, these things as you explain, I'll wait till you explain them and then I'll make my point.
Yeah, so
I'll shut up. Sorry.
the stirrables, and you can have one too, Scott, just to take home late for later or whatever.
Right on.
But basically, shout out Teal. They make these right down the street from us at Swade St. Peter's. So they make these in St. Peter's.
Oh, wow.
Local little small laboratory.
They make
They're
this.
they make
Really?
this dissolvable powder, and they're the only ones who make this. So it's pure dissolvable THC. I've kind of made it a game into seeing what I can put it in. I do my iced tea predominantly, but I've done Powerade, glasses of water.
You tasted it?
Juice. I do not taste it at all.
Okay, I have an iced tea right here. So I'm going to use my iced tea.
Oh, here.
So-
I thought you were
or-
gonna
I got this one here.
So I tend to
And you just dump it in there?
do it like this. Now here's how I would do it. If you got my tea I brought you,
Yeah, let me use that. I'll use that because I can shake it up.
take a little sip out of it.
Okay.
So that you got some space in there, and then you usually try to get the packet, but
Yep.
try your best to try to kind of.
Get it in
I'm
there.
not getting this in the mic, but try your best to kind of carefully sort of pour the powder into the bottle as so, and kind of just wrinkle it with your finger. This has been me opening about 8 of these so far and being able to do it.
Nice, okay.
But yeah, as best you can, kind
doing
of
good,
tap
Topher.
all that powder
Yeah, down there.
in. Now, I recommend the
May I
bottle
lick it?
because
You get a nummy? Do you get a nummy off of that?
you would. So like we were kind of saying, these are dissolvable in water, so they're dissolvable in your body.
Oh,
so they just
okay.
go right in to your body's water and fats, like soluble.
Wow. So could you, I mean, I guess you could technically just pour it down your throat if you wanted to. You know?
You could just open the powder and just put it right onto your tongue. It's activated dissolvable THC, so it would just dissolve right into your saliva and stuff.
So Austin, let me ask you this: this pack, how much is in this one pack?
So 1 pack of stirrables at the moment is 5 milligrams per pouch. Then you get 10 pouches per bag.
Okay.
1 bag costs $22 at Swade.
That's not bad. 100 milligrams for 22. That's not bad.
50 milligrams.
50 milligrams.
10 packs of 5.
10 packs
But
of
yeah,
five.
10 packs, so it's a little bit less. But this is a very sort of special product that no one else
That's true.
has that you can put into any liquid.
This is a soccer
And you can
mom
use more
product.
than 1 pack if you want. Like
You could absolutely use more than 1 pack,
And there's no taste. No
there's
taste.
no
You
taste.
get to my. Could you imagine coming to my table at a bar? I just got a pile
would
of
have to
these.
buy 2 of those
I just
pouches.
a pile of these packs just unopened up.
Now, this is, I mean, the uses for this.
Yeah.
Dude, food.
So
Yeah,
I
you could
had
do-
the best
it's-
results shaking, so I think they should be renamed Shakeables.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to
Okay.
get that
So
out there.
it has to be shaken in.
These will clump a little bit. Like I stir it in my drink, but you have to like really give it a good whip and
Irritation,
and
yeah.
kind of mess up the clumps.
Yeah.
But if you shake it,
Did you already drink it?
I started drinking it.
yeah,
Oh,
man,
you're
make
fine.
sure as soon as it's dissolved.
You get an enema. We should get it like a. You could do a weed enema with
They-
these. Just
I'm not even going to tell you what it looks like you're doing.
My shake weight.
All right, you guys should put something in there.
I mean, I
No,
love
I'm
you and
just
all,
kidding.
bro, but come on now.
Yeah, I'll put a sticker over it so it doesn't look like I'm doing
You
anything
just
crazy.
cover it up. Dude, I think you're good.
Nah, but the shakables.
Yeah, I like it. So
serve-
that's pretty
Shakables,
cool.
yeah.
I mean, I really see that. I mean, you could, if for light THC, someone like my wife who's, I just don't want to, I don't want a heavy dose. And this would be great. Just dropping in anything, really.
I mean, because 5 milligrams that's a low dose. I mean,
It is.
It's undetectable.
So speaking of dose,
Undetectable.
It's like an undetectable.
I mean,
like 10 milligrams is what they would call the standard dose. And then so 5 is like I tell people right on the borderline of like a micro to standard.
Well,
So
Yeah.
it's not quite a micro, but it's not a standard dose either.
I think a micro would be like a 2.
kind of anything above a 15 is sort of a higher dose.
yeah.
Yeah, which,
And then
that's the thing. As we seen cannabis go, obviously you couldn't find any high dose anything
Right.
on the shelves anywhere.
Yeah,
'cause
we talked about this
Yeah.
a while ago.
And
a year
now,
ago.
now
now it's starting to come.
Now I got stuff like I did that 100 milligram milk, the milk chocolate earlier.
Yeah,
It was a
milk
1 bar. These big, heavier doses. You brought that Sinse,
Yep. So
Sinse-
speaking of your higher tolerances, and so for
He
Topher,
was rolling, man. He was,
I brought Topher the higher dose Sinse. So you want to try one of these?
yeah.
Sweet grape.
Yeah, these
Go
are really
ahead.
good.
sweet.
So they've been really working hard developing really good flavors for these gummies. And this is a
They're melting
perfect
in your
time to
mouth.
sort of, I guess, make that announcement. This might be the first time ever announced.
Okay.
But
Let's hear it.
Since
Breaking
is
news.
going to be having a new summer gummy flavor coming out by the end of July, or what are we
June,
in?
May,
We're in May.
We're in
May, June.
July,
End of June,
August.
July.
End of
I'm
June.
I see
Okay.
all the 4th of July stuff everywhere,
Yeah.
so I questioned myself for a minute. Is 4th of July in a week?
No,
No, okay.
thank God.
So by the end of the month,
by the end of the month,
it's going to be summer mountain soda.
Summer Mountain Soda.
So
I
is that
can't
kind of
wait.
like a Mountain Dew, maybe?
Like a,
Yeah,
maybe-
like kind of like a Well, I haven't tried it.
Oh,
You haven't
you
tried
haven't-
it
you
yet?
No,
haven't
this
had it
is
yet.
literally the first announcement
so
of the
it's a
gummy.
gummy.
No one's tried it. It's
Oh
in
my
it's in
God.
it's in research right now. R&D.
a mountain. What's it called again?
Summer.
Summer mountain soda.
Yeah.
Summer Mountain Soda.
With that
Summer-
soda
I can't wait to. I'm gonna hit Muzzy
Or
up with it. I'm like, what's
just the
this Summer
Sinse
Mountain,
Mountain
Soda?
Soda.
Since Mountain Soda. I can't wait. Now these are. So what I like about these. Let me see that package here.
Go ahead.
So I like about these are 300 milligrams. So the package is 300 milligrams. So you're actually getting each one of these is like 30 milligrams.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Because
one
there's 10 gummies in there.
Yep, each
Yeah.
one is 30.
Yep.
We're really good at math today.
Man,
we're
the
getting
flavor
really
is
good
good
at
on
it.
these.
We,
They-
we,
really
got
didn't know-
10 plus
They've
5 is
improved it.
50, and then we got 10 plus
And I
30 is
appreciate,
300.
I appreciate,
times.
if you've seen the small size of these, if you can see,
Yeah.
they're not huge for a big,
Yeah, little gumdrops, man.
for a larger dose. You don't get a
Now,
big,
what's that writing on the top there? Do we
lot
know?
of eating.
What is it?
It's
So
a
does it say
THC.
something? Oh,
It's
does
a
it say THC?
THC
Oh, does it
stamp.
really?
On the gummy?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
little stamp.
Yeah. So that's another Sinse product that is pretty good, man. I would imagine you guys sell quite a bit of these. It's people's
you like the
tolerance.
flavor?
Yeah, this flavor is amazing.
All right, so this says indica,
right.
high potency.
So it's great.
So
let's see
they're
what's in
pretty
there.
balanced for an indica because they're made with THC distillate.
Okay.
Not the full spectrum indica, but there are those sort of added terpenes to give it that tailoring
Yeah.
to a more
That
relaxing.
indica terpene, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But that has to be added back in, correct, to the THC. They add that terpene.
I believe so. It's an added terpene to give it an indica because they're the high potency distillate, so just very pure,
THC.
potent, consistent, and then
Because, yeah, at that point, at that stage, the indica and sativa are pretty much out of the oils, is how I understand it. And then the
I've been
terpenes
like
is
now
what
I'm
adds
kind of
that.
learning that from you guys now.
Well,
Because-
Yeah.
we're really diving deep to
Yeah,
try to
we've been
figure out
diving deep
what
in
the
it.
actual answer is.
And we keep talking to every time we bring a guest on, we talk about it. We talked about it in depth in the last week.
Yeah, I mean, what we're trying to decipher is sativa and indica.
Right.
Like, is there a difference?
Yeah.
And I think there is on the terpenes.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it a terpene based?
I
I don't think that
know.
leans it any way. Do you? I don't think that.
I don't know. So don't quote us on this. This is something we're researching ourselves.
Yeah.
But just the research that I've done, as you process the plant, and you're using, let's say you're using a butane extraction, you're pulling all the oils off the plant. You're losing the essence of that plant and really trying to concentrate to a THC after
right.
short path distillation, all that.
Yep.
Is there at that point? Is that indica or sativa, or is that just THC and then the additive terpenes is what's causing it? That's what I believe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, not in my opinion.
Not in mine.
That pure THC would not have that name
It's not
attached
gonna
to
have
it.
an
The
indica or sativa.
Yeah.
It's going to be it's going to be THC distillate, which is what
I mean, now that he
what
says
we're making
it
our
back to
stuff.
us,
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, well,
it
it makes
makes
total sense.
sense.
Like, maybe it really wasn't that hard of a question.
right. It's
No,
but
it's
not.
not.
No, it's
You know
not.
what
I
I'm
think
saying,
what makes
though,
it
right?
confusing is from a marketing standpoint, we're still seeing products on the market that say indica and sativa, and we know better. And so we're kind of trying to get to the bottom of that. Well, why do you say it? You know, like, and this is going to be the question I'm going to ask Sean Thursday. Well, how do you get away with, putting indica on this if you know?
Well, he even said it was added terpenes into the
Right.
the
So
recipe.
they are
So,
adding something to give it a tailoring effect,
Effect,
to
yeah.
kind of produce more of a relaxing body high effect.
But
Yeah.
but to the non-discerning cannabis user,
Absolutely. It's not
a
the
bit
most
misleading.
transparent.
Yeah, it's not the most transparent term.
Now, I'd say this too. All the products have labels, just kind of like items in the grocery store too.
Yeah.
So people aren't as discerning about nutrition or their health either, and they'll go and they'll pick out some items in the grocery store that have controversial ingredients.
absolutely.
So I'd I would
Here we are,
really
like, I don't know if I want to put that in my body.
I just would really encourage people to look at the ingredients
Right.
because it is on there, THC distillate, and I think like to that point, the Sinse gummy brand makes RSO gummies too.
Yes.
So those ones are much more.
Is it the FICO
full
or the
spectrum.
RSO?
They were FICO, but now I'm seeing. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the label now, seeing that it says RSO. So I've kind of switched up.
Right.
I'm telling people they're RSO now because that's what I'm seeing on the
Right.
label.
Okay. Yeah. I know that.
So-
I did see some FICO ones too.
Always check out your label. The state makes them put certain things on the label for us to kind of give us that transparency in what we're taking.
Yeah, and most of them have these scan codes on them.
Well, yeah. And you pointed
little,
out
little
like,
QR codes.
like,
You go that'll take you to a site that shows you everything that's in here, the test results of
Right.
metallic content, all that stuff.
right.
For Sinse Cannabis, absolutely, we've been putting the testing on everything, and that has just been a great thing to show people who come into my store. It's just, hey, you can always look at this and see
and read
it's
it.
passed.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Must be a lot of fun too. I guess you meet a lot of people in the industry, coming in. How do products get picked for the dispensary? Like how does that happen?
So it's at least in our organization, I don't have like a lot of buying power, I guess, for hey, like what's going in.
Yeah.
But like we kind of hit on it that there is kind of that bottom up mentality. So like, I mentioned the Super Jays, or I'll go around and like see what other people are doing, because we're all like my mentality is we're competing, but we're also good partners.
Right.
So
Developing an industry.
we're competitive with one another but we're building each other up too. We're supporting each other too.
Yeah.
So like I've always been an advocate for just like kind of what you were saying in the last episode is having the best brands sort of rise up to the top and fill the cream of the crop.
Right.
I know that wasn't addressing your question specifically.
No, but no, you're right. I mean, that is something
like,
that I mentioned it last week too. It's like now it's a matter of the best product, the best marketing, who's going to be the go-to edible, who's going to be the go-to flower. Now, personally, I've been smoking since day one, and they are consistently putting out a good product, and it's different levels of products. It's not just consistent like high THC weed. It's that, yes. Consistently, they will have a strain that's out that has a decent amount of THC, but it's also in the mids and it's in the lowers. You know, I mean, it's all the way up the chain. You know, you get quality cannabis, and I've always found that their buds are really good. So, but I'm waiting for like. You know, like my club, you know, when we sell T-shirts and we see all these people wearing Diamond Music Hall T-shirts. I'm waiting for that cannabis brand to be that brand that everybody's liking and everybody's into.
Oh, we're working on it. We're working on it.
How does
you
that
guys,
happen?
That's a great question. I feel like we have our new CEO.
Yeah.
You know about our new CEO, Jason.
Yep, I heard about him.
And so he comes over to us with a lot of knowledge and experience from a big national cannabis brand, which you guys know that he used to work for Cresco Labs.
Okay. Cresco Labs.
Which is huge in like Illinois and like 10 states, I guess he was saying. So we're only in Missouri now.
Right.
Right. But I don't know, man. The Sinse Cannabis brand, like the Swade dispensary brand, I just feel like we have a super strong, consistent brand with like that. We're getting quality products out there in many facets of the market.
Right.
Our flower, our gummies, the new Mountain Soda gummies coming out.
Mountain Soda.
And our vapes. So another announcement is we're launching the Culture Collective vapes.
Yeah, I do. I do love your vape. So every time I'm out with with Muzzy and those guys, we're always trying the new vapes. And kudos to the vapes. You do have that market. From the day one, you had that market. You know, they had the disposable ones, which were really popular. Yep. Love those. You know, those are one and dones. You know, so
a lot of medical patients' first vape ever in Missouri was Sinse. I think would have been the first ones.
Yeah.
But I've seen now that people order products for our dispensary. Like finally, kind of getting back to your original question, but we all order from each other in different dispensaries.
Right.
Brands. And there's a marketplace for it. I think it all goes through Metric.
Which I thought is always cool because I knew, Swade and Sinse were the same basic, partners, people, right? But you could also buy Sinse Cannabis in other dispensaries, just like you can buy Proper in other, places. And I think for a market, for an industry, that's really a good thing. And it really does have that family vibe of helping each other out in a way. Now, I like I said, eventually it's going to be, market share. It's going to become that, and then people are going to be marketing their brands because there's only going to be able to be so many, brands.
Well, I think it's going to come down to different products. Like something like the Stirrables,
right?
Something, it's going to be introducing of other ways that people can consume.
Well, a lot of people.
I don't think we've seen half the market of what's going to be available.
No,
a lot of people praise cookies for how they distributed their brand. Across all the states because I think the Grand guys were talking about license, how much it costs, and the rich. What are they saying? Talking about Florida.
Yeah,
it was the rich man's game in Florida, but you'll probably see cookies out there. Because they don't need to spend that money, and they don't need to have that retail space. Or pay or win that lottery for
all
the licenses.
They have to do
they
is,
just let everyone else do it.
All they have to do is go back to the guy who won it and say, "Hey, we can help manufacture your strain under your license." I would think, in some
same
capacity.
Recipe, same thing. Push it out.
Yeah, which I find that's what I've been finding interesting is how the national companies have moved into Missouri as well. And I'm sure you've seen that too because now. You're starting, I remember one of the first products I saw was Keef Cola when you guys started carrying the drinks. And I'm like, oh, yeah, now that was something I used to get in Colorado,
Yeah, the Keefs. It was really cool because my first ever exposure to Keef was medical marijuana in Missouri. But I actually took a trip to Denver and I got to see, Keef out there and kind of have that brand recognition across different state markets.
Right.
And dude, yeah, and I think you were hitting on this point in the previous podcast, but when is it going to be every single state's legal and we all have and then what are the
national brands?
The national brands someone might emerge as that Kellogg's or something.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
It needs to happen, man.
It'll be Marlboro. They'll start selling packs.
Man, they're just waiting in the wings. They're like, yeah, let these guys screw around. Fuck them. We're gonna screw them with our big campaign. You know.
I haven't seen any tobacco fields.
I mean,
lately.
I would just say like I'm super duper optimistic and like excited about like my company's like kind of growth and like the trajectory that we're in right now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you should
with
be.
with our stuff. I mean, it feels
quality.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of growth with your company. I've seen a lot of changes too over the years. But one thing I've consistently seen is happy employees. You know, happy employees. And I've even been to like,
I wonder why.
I've snuck into some of the events, and like the employees are so gracious, you know, because like, like, okay, we gotta go because the big guys are here, you know, and they like, hey, but they're really cool, man, and they're really passionate about this plant. I was talking to somebody from Sinse, you know, today, and it's like a bunch of weed nerds, you know. Now I got keys to the kingdom, and we're able to kind of forward the science of cannabis, you know, which is great. So, a couple of other, you know, I wanted to ask too. We talked about the flowers being the most consumed. We talked about the vapes being on the decline, and
he said, you know, he said it was small, but majority's flower.
yeah, like it's so like the vape decline. It's statistical, like it's minor.
Percent or
It's like it's not much, and so
well,
I'm not coming on here with like a
like the
I didn't run the numbers.
Here's the chart right here that he gave us. I'm gonna put a crayon picture.
You can see the vape market.
Justin
crashing.
gave us this chart earlier that shows you the sales and decline of the markets here. So we'll be putting that up. Let's do some 420 news, some Mofo 20 news. I don't have any Mofo 20 news, but I do have a couple of things I wanted to talk about.
You got that big build up, and then you
Wait, you don't have any Mo news?
No,
You
we
got any news?
we
Did
caught
you
everybody
guys
up.
talk about the labeling laws yet?
No, let's talk about it.
Dude,
Mofo 20 news,
go.
no labeling.
Enlighten
I
us.
shouldn't talk.
Why?
I don't
Yeah.
like the labeling laws.
Well, we
like,
know
I don't
that.
wanna
So
say
we
anything
have
like
talked about
profane.
the labeling laws. They're like how you can't have cartoon kind of characters.
Oh,
Right.
you know,
that's okay.
You
things
guys
like
are
that.
asking.
Yeah.
I'm beating around the bush, but yeah, basically, effective June 30th, I believe.
Oh, okay.
New labeling laws have been passed.
Really?
We're trying to get all of the non-compliant items off of our shelves like ASAP as quickly as possible because. And luckily, like brands like Sinse have prepared for something like this.
Right.
So we're going to be now limited to 2 colors and 2 logos on the package. So
Okay.
you can see with the white packaging, the green color, and the one or two logos here. That maybe this might even just be a single logo. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But this is all you're going to be allowed to have on your packaging. So
no
lots
color?
of different
So
brands.
I guess 2 colors. You can't.
So
have
like
multiple
this
colors?
might be okay because this is pretty much only 2 colors. It's like a white and a red, and then it has like the brand here and the brand here. And that's like 2 brands and 2 colors. So like this one might be okay.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's
if you-
almost like a shade, a light shade, and
if you go in your
that fades
stores,
into there.
you're gonna and this has been a man. It's negative. It's gonna negatively impact a lot of people's businesses. Like our business is good, but it can't get like the way
So
craft
after
beer
June
is.
30th, you couldn't sell the old Sinse packaging.
So the old one was pretty good,
It was
but
pretty
it had some
slick, just straight.
It had a little bit of flair on it,
Yeah.
like some of the lines on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
It did have some of the lines.
some of those
that still-
flares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, does
around
that
the
make
edges,
it?
yep.
But you know, you go into your grocery store aisle and check out every beer label, and it's a lot of marketing.
Yeah, I heard
on beer.
I heard that is the argument, you know, and then
You know,
what we're trying to say.
advertising.
I think what they're saying is basically, look, color's not it's not age appropriate, you know,
Right.
the color red speaks to you know, whether you're a 50-year-old man or a 4-year-old or whatever, or blue. You know, that's why our beer, like you said, that's why our craft beer and everything. Voodoo beer. Look at that
Right.
bitch fucking skull on that beer bottle. I got to
Yeah.
try it. Right? Well, I mean, I get it. the one thing I don't, and I guess, California's notorious for it. They have like, it's very cartoonish, their weed, because, look, man, weed smokers like their cartoons sometimes, and so sometimes the packaging is very cartoony, but that can be construed as like targeting children, but beer is the same way. Beer is just as colorful and it's got just as much animation on it. It could be construed the same way. So I'm kind of like, man, I just think it should be an open environment for it and let them have it's their business. They put millions of dollars into their company. They should be able to market it without that kind of restriction.
Well, if you change the labels, why? Because you can't even get into the damn dispensaries unless you're 21 anyway.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's true.
You're not walking into the gas station.
Just in case
you break it.
Sorry, they took a minute to get out.
in there anyway.
Exactly how to say it.
Yo, just in
but you
case,
know what I mean? Like, a kid can't go in there anyway. This isn't sitting at a gas station.
Dude. You're right. Absolutely. Bingo.
It just sucks because they could have so much cool packaging design.
Right.
No, absolutely. I mean, that could open up a whole new marketing game. Then you got big time, marketing strategy.
I mean, they must have a reason for it either way.
Dude,
nonetheless, I think it sucks.
Another thing that occurred to me, I was watching at Hulu. I don't have the ad free. So the ad came up. It was like a hard seltzer. And dude, it was cartoons.
Right.
It was like, I'm relaxing on the beach. I've got money and gold chains. I don't know what it was. But like I felt good. If I was a kid or if I was anybody, like I would think that, buying or drinking that hard seltzer with alcohol in it was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's just like we have like our billboards that say turn left, Swade. I think Proper has one that says weed is legal.
Right.
Have you ever seen that one driving downtown? It just says weed is legal.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's kind of the funny thing about it. It's legal.
This is something that boosts people's creativity, and yet our packaging is like they're just.
So is Missouri the only one that limits packaging?
I don't know. I think I think there's some other states that do. I don't have a list of the states.
They got to be more
the
medical,
packaging.
professional type logos.
I don't know why it's recreationally legal. I mean, like if it doesn't matter if I'm a medical patient or a frat boy who wants to get blazed, I can go to the freaking dispensary and fucking get it. So I should be able to look at some goofy surfer on my package and be like, fucking get Maui Wowie, dude, because it looks badass. I should be able to do that.
Right.
Personally.
Yeah. Yeah. So. I agree. So.
Yeah, so we'll see how that.
We've made that decision.
Well, we have. Okay, we've made that decision.
We've been outvoted.
But we've been outvoted on that. We'll see how it goes. I mean, time will tell. I mean, maybe if we can, get everybody used to us smoking weed and being high functioning people. Like, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on was you're a high functioning pot smoker. You have a job and you're very articulate about what you do. You are too. So. Like to have those high functioning people.
You have to be if you're trying to like kind of stop those perpetuating stereotypes about people or the consumption of cannabis or alcohol or whatever for whatever reason, like medical or adult use, because just coming up from what we grow.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. I hate to say it over and over again, but there's people that are accomplished out there that fucking smoke weed. And they like it. They do it. They can function. I do got this. Breath testing is not yet a reliable indicator of recent marijuana use. Federal study finds.
I don't know how they
so
would do that
here
anyway.
they were, the federally funded study illustrates the difficulty of developing a breathalyzer-like device for cannabis. Even when using carefully collected samples in laboratory analysis, researchers found THC levels are too inconsistent to tell whether someone had smoked marijuana recently. So basically, they're coming out and saying, we can't. National Institute of Standards and Technology says we don't have the accurate results to even put this out.
I don't even know how they will ever get that.
I don't either. I mean,
I think different people absorb things differently. And, you know what I mean? Like, there's Yeah, there's no
Could
way.
you imagine?
Is that machine calibrated?
You're
man?
you're like the one nerd who like smoked a joint with your friends 3 weeks ago, and you happen to be driving and like, oh yeah, dude, he was wasted on cannabis according to the breathalyzer. You know, I mean, come on. You're right. That's good to know. You know that it's they're still trying to find something.
Stop.
But apparently, the breathalyzer is not what we're looking for. And bad news for Texas. Texas bills to decriminalize marijuana and allow cannabis as an opioid alternative for pain patients die in the Senate. The House passed bills have been sent to the Senate. This was since 2019, 21, and now here we are, 23. They keep batting this bill down. They want to hold on to their stringent cannabis regime down there in Texas. So, sorry.
That's crazy.
Sorry for that. Well, it is a border city, border town, and they are kind of tough. One of the only states that I know of that has their own pasta shaped after their own state.
They do?
Yeah. Like they go to the grocery store and get Texas-shaped pasta.
We don't have Missouri shape.
No, that's what. Hey, that's exactly what I fucking said when I saw it. Hey, what the fuck is this? We don't have fucking. We're not cool. We don't have fucking Missouri shaped pasta. There's no Idaho shaped pasta. I'm sure nobody's proud of their state, but
Missouri
Texas
shaped
is.
toasted ravioli.
Yeah, no shit. Good lord. Good lord with this shit.
Take this shit down.
Good lord. So what'd you roll up there? What are you smoking on?
I just smoked some hash burgers.
Hash burgers.
You're familiar with hash burgers, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about hash burgers?
I thought it was a really good smoking weed. I reviewed it. I thought it was quality. I did. I think didn't you guys have the hash burger box? I kind of made fun of that though. I thought it was kind of lame.
The hashy meal.
Is this the secret? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, this one's the secret.
The secret.
Yeah.
The secret. That one's a sativa one. This one ended up being a more indica batch. I know if you guys are, because that one has the terpinolene as the top terp, and this one has more myrcene.
Myrcene. Yeah.
Just
maybe
for
that's
the
the
terp
one
heads.
that gets
Myrcene. You think myrcene?
Yeah, I think.
Well, let's try to dial it in. I mean, we can start pulling out, get cannabis.
Well, what was this one?
That was
I think it's printed on there. I think on the bottom.
If you got a fucking
Starlight.
bionic eyes,
Or Starfire.
it's printed on there if you got bionic eyes.
They're the terps. Caryophyllene, limonene, linalool, myrcene.
My eyes suck.
Yeah, see,
I got the glasses.
Yeah,
All right, what does it say?
It says caryophyllene, limonene, linalool, and myrcene for this one. So it's it's a nice little diet. That's probably why we all liked it.
So what one had? What does the flower have in it? It had more what?
So that's just what they tested the Starfire Chem pre-roll. So one thing I learned actually is that what you'll see is total terps 2%. So this if they I'm not 100% sure. So like the different people who test this cannabis, and there's only a few of them, right? They will test. They can't test every single nug. So they have certain batch size quantities that they're testing.
And they're sitting like look, dude, here's our best shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it's interesting, someone came into the dispensary who worked at one of those. He had an agent badge, so he got the industry discount. And I just said, what do you do? And he was.
Read this. Let me see your bag.
Oh,
sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. You were talking, so
go ahead. Sorry.
And I was like, so what do you say to the people who like say that tests can be manipulated or whatever for higher percentages or whatever? And he says, oh yeah, I mean, well, absolutely, you can absolutely manipulate testing results, and we can like look for certain things or certain like selective things in it to like maybe give it certain results, but to like so I would just like to that end, don't put as much stock in all the testing. Yeah. Like of course if you're seeing like something really high THC, that was probably batch tested, and at a really high amount. So like what you're getting in your bag
was the top cola, was the what I'm saying? Like was the main.
Yeah, I mean it's in the same batch, so it's gonna match that potency like very well.
Yeah.
but it may not be like perfect.
Right.
And like, you know,
I always thought like if they're gonna, I thought the state would be more involved. So I guess the way I understand it, there's a few companies that test. It's required. You got to have these tested to put it on the bag, right? That's part of the requirement. But there's only a few companies that do the testing, so you have to send your stuff out to get it tested. It's a regular thing. I would have thought that the government would have set that up. Like, we have one test. We don't know if it's fucking who it is, but we just get it. And it's white bagged in our own testing. I think that I would have felt better if that was the way it would have been, because to your point, there could be this, that, and the other.
Calibrations
like,
on the
who's to
machines.
say? Who's to say somebody in
companies
X cannabis company is like, hey, buddy, let me grease your wheels and give me a 35%. You see what I'm saying? I mean, not to say that would happen. I would hate to say that there's a kind of dissension in our industry, but
it's pretty regulated.
But it seemed more like with the government involved in doing it, if they wanted to be involved, that would have been the one thing I would have had them do. That way, me as a consumer, it's just like the old days when they did the proof on booze, because it became askew. They were mixing all kinds of liquors together and calling it whiskey, right? Well, they had to come up with a way to test that. That's why I get 100 proof. And so it's the same with the weed. It seems like, well, I would rather know. I mean, who's to say this is 23%? Well, maybe it's 35%. And I smoke it. I'm fucking, what the fuck, man? 23%. You know, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like if it's that, it could be that skewed in my mind, knowing how the system is now.
I guess we can't completely rule it out that Department of Health and Senior Services doesn't have some kind of regulatory something for the testing companies, but I don't know.
Well, they don't. They have to. They certify them. They come in and
they come in. They'll do the walk. They'll do the walkthrough.
I mean, when we were doing
like, hey, okay, there's your paperwork here. Let me see. Let me check this box.
On the CBD side of this, like when we were making those products for Marla's company, when we would send them out for test, we kind of knew what they were going to come back at, and they were always right close to what we, mixed to do like the lotions and things like that. And the numbers were always good. I mean, they were always about what we thought they should be based on our measurements and stuff.
So I guess every day is that would be fun. But I think as the market heats up, and dude, I'm still guilty of it sometimes. What's the most powerful weed you got?
Have you ever seen those little things where you can test your own flower?
Power weed.
You can put a little tester you can put in there. They're like $3,000. And you can put a bud in there, and it'll read the THC content of the bud.
There you go, guys. Hey, you know what? Listen.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Go buy it.
$3,000. Grab you one.
I didn't say I was going to buy one, or didn't tell anyone.
And then from then on, when you go in the dispensary and buy your weed, you can be like, 23.56%. We'll see about that. And just walk away.
Pull out your machine.
Pull out your machine.
Pull out your machine right there and be like, I ain't paying
I'm not paying that. You better shave off some pennies.
Or if it comes back higher, you can just be like, yeah, it's good. Right on, 23%.
I mean, if you can't get that machine, I think there is an app too.
They sell like there's a little bitty travel.
It's like a subscription or something. It's a subscription fee. Yeah. So you pay the subscriptions like $100 a year or something like that. But you download the app, and then like you take the nug and you take like 3 different pictures of it from 3 different angles.
Stop it.
And then it goes and then it calculates a THC percentage for you. Yeah.
Oh my God, I want to buy it right now just to test this thing.
What? It does it by picture?
So maybe you guys can test that.
We're gonna try this on another show.
Could you imagine that? Like if you had a cannabis company in Missouri, you just open it up, and the state comes in and was like, "Yeah, who does your testing?" Like, look, dude, we got an app, man. We just take 3 pictures of it and send it in and slap it on the label.
Why all the process? Why the hard stuff?
It's too expensive.
Just let the trimmer pull out his phone. Like, come on.
Get the good one. Dude, that's terrible.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
That's fucking Cheech and Chong for you. That would be their cannabis company.
They should promote that app. Like, we got an app now.
Holy shit.
Maui wowie.
I wonder how close it is. See if
you guys can get sponsored by that app.
No shit.
No doubt. Everyone's going to be downloading it like, what's this?
The state of Missouri is going to call us like, please stop telling everybody to buy this app. Every time we go into a dispensary, they're like, yeah, we use the app.
He told us, man.
Mofo 20 News. The state is now accepting the app as a way to test your THC. Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
Well, we've had a great show. Austin, loved having you out.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Bringing all
Scott,
these
Topher, thank you guys.
great things and a great conversation too. I mean, I
know
love
we
Sinse
jumped
Cannabis.
around a lot, but there was a lot of info in there. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
I'm reached out to the guys from Sinse Cannabis. I'm gonna have somebody come on so we can really nail them with the science. And talk about this app.
Hell yeah.
This percentage
Tell them
app.
to bring some flour and we'll download that app. We'll get it.
We should try it.
We ought to start like a
Oh, that would be
show. A
cool. and then
GoFundMe.
you- Yeah.
No shit. We'll
Yeah.
get. You know what? This says it's this, and see what the app says.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
That would be. Oh my god! If it comes out like crazy, like
What if it hits it spot on?
It's like the psychic, clairvoyant of weed.
If it hits it right on, I'd be impressed.
Holy crap!
I'd
We
be
could be onto
impressed.
something. We just run to the
That would
stage,
be
and be like,
wild
hey.
if it.
I know. I'm
No,
like,
dude. You know what we do? We
all right,
just
wrap this show up so we can try this. Do it next week on the show. I'm excited, man.
Okay, let's wrap it up. No, we got an app to try. That would be. Could you imagine if it was dead on, like an app? People would just
I'm
fucking use it.
end the show. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting the app. We're getting the app. That's Toking with Topher. Like us on Facebook. Share our videos. See our videos on YouTube. Email
the
us
show.
stoner@tokingwithtopher.com. Love to hear about your show ideas. Anything you want to talk about, get on the show. Come see us.